The alley behind Chen's noodle house had been Marcus's home for 3 weeks now. At 14 years old, he had learned that the world was neither kind nor fair. The cardboard boxes he'd arranged into a makeshift shelter did little against the November cold, but the threadbare blanket, a donation from the shelter before they'd hit capacity, kept him alive through the freezing nights. That evening, as Marcus returned from his usual route of checking dumpsters for edible scraps, he found something impossible blocking his spot. At first he thought it was a person in an elaborate costume, but as he drew closer, his breath caught in his throat. The creature was unmistakably alien. Its body was elongated and covered in scales that shimmered between blue and silver, even in the dim light of the alley. It had 4 arms, 2 of which clutched at a gaping wound in its torso that oozed a luminescent purple fluid. Its large, multifaceted eyes, like those of an insect but impossibly expressive, turned toward Marcus with what he could only describe as desperate hope. Marcus should have run, should have screamed, should have done anything except what he did next. The alien was shivering violently, its scales clicking together like chattering teeth. Without thinking, Marcus knelt beside the creature and carefully draped his only blanket over its trembling form. The alien's eyes widened, and one of its uninjured hands reached out to touch the worn fabric with something approaching reverence. "It's okay," Marcus whispered, though he had no idea if the creature could understand. "It's not much, but it's warm." The alien's breathing, a strange whistling sound, began to slow. Its eyes never left Marcus's face as a thin, 3-fingered hand reached up and pressed something small and metallic into the boy's palm. The object was warm and pulsed with a soft blue light. Marcus wanted to stay, wanted to help more, but he heard voices at the alley's entrance. The restaurant owner often chased him away. When he looked back after hiding behind a dumpster, both the alien and his blanket were gone. Only a trail of that strange purple fluid remained, leading to nowhere. That night was the coldest Marcus had ever experienced. He shivered until dawn, clutching the mysterious device the alien had given him, wondering if he'd dreamed the entire encounter. When the sun finally rose, Marcus emerged from the alley to find the street in chaos. 200 soldiers stood in perfect formation in the middle of the intersection, but these weren't human soldiers. Each stood over 7 feet tall, their armor gleaming with the same blue-silver sheen as the dying alien's scales. They were armed with weapons that hummed with barely contained energy, and at their center stood a figure that radiated authority, taller than the rest, with armor etched in golden patterns. Traffic had stopped. People had gathered at a safe distance, phones raised, filming. Police had arrived but seemed unsure of how to proceed. The aliens hadn't moved, hadn't threatened anyone. They simply stood there waiting. The commanding figure stepped forward and raised one of its 4 arms. When it spoke, its voice boomed in perfect English, though colored with an otherworldly resonance. "We seek the human called Marcus Chen." Marcus's heart nearly stopped. Slowly trembling, he stepped out from behind the crowd. Every eye, human and alien, turned toward him. "I'm Marcus," he said, his voice barely audible. The commander approached and the crowd gasped as this imposing figure lowered itself onto one knee before the homeless boy. The other 200 soldiers followed suit in perfect synchronization, their armor creating a sound like thunder as they knelt. "Marcus Chen of Earth," the commander said, its multifaceted eyes glistening. "You gave comfort to Prince Zarkoth in his final moments. You offered him warmth when you yourself had none. You showed compassion to a being you did not know, could not understand, and had every reason to fear." Marcus's mouth fell open. "Prince, I didn't know." "It matters not what title he held," the commander continued. "What matters is that when our prince lay dying, far from home and afraid, you treated him with a kindness that his own people had never shown. In his last transmission, he spoke of you. He said, 'I have traveled 1,000 worlds, commander, and only here in a forgotten alley of a primitive world. Did I learn what true nobility means?'" The commander stood and placed one hand over its chest in what seemed to be a salute. "The collective of Zarkoth does not forget its debts. You gave our prince your only protection against the cold. In return, we offer you ours." Before Marcus could respond, a sleek vessel descended from the clouds, a ship that made even the most advanced human aircraft look like children's toys. But the commander wasn't finished. "We also offer you a choice, Marcus Chen. Return with us and receive the honors due to one who showed kindness to royalty. Or remain here, and we shall ensure that you never want for warmth, shelter, or sustenance again. The collective guards its friends as fiercely as it mourns its princes." Marcus looked at the kneeling soldiers, at the ship, at the crowd of humans watching with a mixture of awe and envy. Then he looked down at his dirty clothes and worn shoes, at the alley that had been his home. "Can I?" Marcus swallowed hard. "Can I do both? Go with you but also come back? There are others like me here, others who are cold and hungry. If the collective really wants to honor what I did, then help me help them." A sound emerged from the commander's throat, something between a laugh and a trill. "Prince Zarkoth was right about your species. You possess something we had thought extinct in the universe, genuine compassion coupled with genuine courage." The commander stood and addressed the crowd. "Let it be known across all worlds, humanity has been marked as friends of the collective. Any who harm them shall answer to us." As Marcus was led toward the ship, he turned back one last time to see the alley where it had all begun. He thought of the alien prince who had died there and of the simple act of kindness that had changed everything. Sometimes, he realized, the measure of a person isn't found in what they have, but in what they're willing to give when they have nothing left to give at all, and sometimes the universe notices.